Hey folks, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Have any of you used your Amex Dell credits recently on your Platinum cards, or I suppose on the other cards as well? The Reserve card has Dell credits too, do they? I think it's just the Platinum card. If any of you have your Platinum card and have used your Dell credits, let me know how it goes. I haven't ever used the Dell credits, but it seems lucrative enough that I want to. I mean, because I was talking about headphones, I was looking at Dell.ca and seeing what could be worthwhile. Because I think Dell is up to $200 credit. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just try out the Dell AirPods. I mean, Dell has their own microphones over the headphones and things like that as well. So I wondered, $200, and I know it's $100 every 6 months, but $100 knocked off from a Dell item is pretty decent. So I was just eyeing those just to test it out, even for these live streams and such. So wondered if any of you have used your Platinum Dell credit. Yeah, Katie. Katie says I've not, but it's a good reminder to think about it. Yeah, this is a good time to sort of look at your credit card portfolio generally and see what annual credits you have. And if you have any unused annual credits left, then definitely use them. The other thing I was looking at, I was obviously looking at things that could get me close to not paying too much out of my pocket. Dell has a couple of decent shoulder bags too, like a carry-on bag kind of size. They call them gaming laptop bags, but they're decent. They're decent in the sense that they'll carry a laptop, a few accessories, maybe clothes just enough for one day, like a quick change, that kind of thing, or emergency clothing, if you will. So I was maybe looking at that as well and hoping that I'd use it because I haven't used it yet, and it's been a couple of years I've held that card. What other credits should we? I mean, I've used up all my dining credits on my Platinum cards. I've used up, oh, the credits that mostly go unused is Nexus credits on like various cards. Is there a sure shot way of using up your Nexus credit that you get on an annual basis? Be it like the $50, or some of them are $100, or some of them are like full rebate or whatnot. I already have my Nexus. It's already extended. I don't have any use of it. Can somebody else use it? Does it have to be under your name? Have you folks tried to use it? Have you convinced friends and family to use your credit and perhaps take it as a gift, or give you some money back? That way you get to keep the money and they get to use a little bit of that credit. Like what have you folks done for your Nexus credits? Because so many of these credit cards here in Canada as well now have these Nexus credit, which perhaps if you were already a Nexus member, goes unused every other year or every couple of years. So if you have plans for that, let me know. I would love to hear what folks are doing with your Nexus credits, because that's another thing that there's plenty of Nexus credit floating around in my credit card wallet that just goes unused. All right, should we talk about a couple of items that came through? Let's start with the Hilton and Explora Journeys partnership. So Hilton has jumped into the cruise life partnership through Explora Journeys. So Explora Journeys has about four or five big cruise ships that cruise all over North America, Europe, Mediterranean, the typical hot spots and hubs. They're not a massive company. But they do a pretty decent structured itinerary, and most of their cruise ships, I think, from oof, I could be terribly wrong, but I think from last time I wrote about them, most of their cruise ships were around 450, 460 suites. So it's not a massive one with thousands and thousands of people. It's also not a very small or niche one with, like, say, 300 people or 200 people. It's somewhere in between, but pretty decent in terms of a luxury cruise company, in terms of the size that is, and the delivery model. So Hilton has now partnered with them, which is fantastic. Uh, that partnership, the full earn and redeem partnership would launch summer 2026. So we are a few months off. But what they are doing to launch that partnership, they're offering Hilton members a chance to make their booking with some exclusive benefits. And they're offering 100,000 Hilton Honors points, bonus points per suite that you book on these cruises. So which is a decent chunk being if you even if you think that zero point 0.5 cents a piece, that's $500. It's nothing to scoff at, but it's also nothing that would convince you to go on to these cruises because when you look at the pricing, so let me just first tell you what they're doing as a package. So 100,000 points per suite, up to 400 euros or dollars, depending on where you're cruising, I suppose, in credits on select journeys. But 200 euros or dollars on every journey. So regardless of the journey you pick, you'll at least get 200 credits to use while on board, or it could be up to 400 depending on some select journeys that you pick. And then, of course, you also get an exclusive in-suite welcome gift. So that's the package they're giving you: 100,000 points, some credits to use while on board, and an exclusive in-suite amenity, which is pretty good if you want to try them out. And like I said, for summer 2026, the full earn and redeem would go through. The 100,000 by itself is not going to convince you to drop everything and start cruising with Explorer. Uh, because when you look at the journeys that they have posted right now, or the itineraries that they have posted right now, everything ranges between 4,000 to 7,000 US dollars in pricing. So $500 doesn't go a long, $500 worth of points doesn't go a long way, but it's substantial. If you combine that with the credits that you're getting, it is a meaningful reward for trying out the first bookings if you're going to make them. So the offer is available to all Hilton members. Bookings have to be made before, but actually, bookings have, I'm reading this out. Let's not get this wrong. So bookings have to be made by June 7th, 2026. It has to be a new booking, and the sailing has to be between now, so between December 8th to December 31st, 2028. So you can book a full 2 years out if you wanted to, as well as 3 years out in this case. Actually, 26 to 28, so almost 2 to 3 years out. Um, yeah, so just another sort of partnership, strong partnership that they're uh, bringing on board into the Hilton portfolio, which will allow Hilton members to use their points in different ways if you're not finding value in redeeming them for Hilton hotels. Uh, Based on what we've seen with some of the other partnerships, so think about Hilton and AutoCamp. AutoCamp is kind of like their glamping version. Every time I think about any camping, all I can think is Hyatt and Under the Canvas, that kind of partnership. So it's basically that, but in this case, it's like auto camping is what this company specializes in. So Hilton has already partnered with them under the Hilton experiences, or rather something that they uh, call it, and they're going to bring this Explora Journeys as part of that portfolio, which is Hilton Experiences portfolio. So the AutoCamp, the Explora sailings, and whatever other things come through is again leaning a little bit heavily on people that want something beyond the cookie cutter hotel experience, and want to explore other things to do out there. Hyatt, because I mentioned under the canvas. If you haven't looked at Hyatt and under the canvas, uh, I hope you do, because Under the Canvas is again a really good company with some great properties across, mostly in the US. There's one or two here in Canada as well, or they're coming up soon, I think. The one out east I did see on their map, and then mostly everything was down in the States, but pretty good glamping option. And the full earn and redeem options are available through Hyatt as well. And no matter Hilton, Hyatt, through all of these experiences and such that they're doing, none of them have are yet to show value in terms of redemptions, which are as good as probably booking a Hilton hotel or probably booking a Hyatt hotel in a city that you want to. So the value remains to be seen. I think there's not everything that I'm seeing, be it Explorer Journeys through Hilton right now, cash wise. Nothing tells me that you'll get outsized value with this, given what we are seeing with AutoCamp and Hilton, for example, or Hyatt and Under the Canvas. Hyatt, of course, has also was in the news last week because they are now partnering with under the Mr. and Mrs. Smith umbrella. They have brought on safaris in East Africa, which is fantastic. So that was one sort of missing experience, the obvious missing experience from that portfolio. They're bringing on a full safari experience company through Mr. and Mrs. Smith portfolio in their redemption arsenal. But again, when you look at the pricing and when you look at the redemption value, nothing was beyond sort of maybe 1 cent, 1.2 cent at the most, 1.3 cents a piece. And nothing that you would sit back and be like, wow, I need to go redeem my points here. And I find that Marriott and all of the others are much the same if they are going to partner, unless they have their own properties, like Marriott has the JW for that Safari. What was the point? Yeah, the value in terms of redeeming, unless it's the hotel's own property or own portfolio item, is just not there. But if you were in that umbrella and you were going to go glamping and wanted to try out a canvas under the canvas, that kind of thing, then at least the money that you put in there, you will earn pretty decent chunk of points in return through that portfolio. So there's those options that continue to be made available to you through these partnerships. And I'm not saying there's no value whatsoever. It's just a great avenue for members that struggle to find value in regular hotel redemptions. Perhaps this is a one-time thing to do with the family, or you're booking your honeymoon, or whatever other life landmarks you're trying to unlock. These partnerships bring great value in that aspect, and really giving you a non sort of, for a lack of a better term, non cookie cutter experience within the portfolio. So that's great. But at the same time, if you were really hunkered down with the value and your Excel sheets and the floor value, then you would find that a lot of times these redemptions just don't make as much sense. Instead, these partnerships can be a great way to experience something and earn a decent chunk of those points. Uh, Goldie says, I cannot imagine how many points one will need for a Hilton cruise travel. I believe Virgin is a better bet for now. I haven't looked at Virgin Cruises, to be honest. Goldie, have you looked at what kind of value you would get at Virgin? The Hilton one, we'll have to wait and see, but I would be very surprised if it was anything sort of beyond a centerpiece in the best of scenarios. And in that, I think there we should talk about the floor value again. Mm. We did speak about this concept of floor value, right? A lot of time is spent in this community talking about the value calculation of your point. But what we need to also do is also calculate what the floor value for each of your redemption is, and what floor value is. And this might be a bit of a repetition because I feel like I've spoken about floor value a few times now. But what floor value is it's not my floor value or your floor value. It could be very different from different member, simply because floor value is what's the lowest value that you're still going to redeem at. So say, for example, an ideal value for Aeroplan might be two cents a piece or more. And you would be like, yeah, this is definitely a great redemption. I'm just doing it. But what's your floor value? And in my case, my floor value could be 1.5 cents a pop, or even 1.3, 1.2, whatever the case might be. And the reason it's different is because it depends on how much you're earning your points at. So if you're constantly earning your Aeroplan points at a centerpiece, then your floor value could be as low as 1.2, maybe even 1.3, or actually 1.3, or maybe even 1.2. Um, and your ideal scenario could be 2 cents or over. So it's always good to, in your Excel sheets, to not only write the value of the points, but also put down the floor value of those points. Because, like I said, oftentimes when you're aiming for, everybody's talking about my first class redemption gave me 10 cents a piece kind of redemption value. It's great for the one time it happens to the one person every 6 months. Uh, but oftentimes the reality is that for most of your everyday travel purpose, if you're not getting those high value, you should know what your floor value is, because then that'll allow you to redeem with a bit of peace of mind. Heather already posted a link, so let's talk about that. So Aeroplan I guess Aeroplan is all set to add another select partner into their portfolio, Harbour Air. Harbour Air already announced the partnership a couple of days ago, which is fantastic. So Harbour Air is based out of Vancouver, and you're able to fly all of their basically think of them as a bit of a water taxi, bit of short shuttle rides to air to within that region, like BC, Western BC or Northern BC region. You can hop around quite a lot through these amazing slopes, mountains, and cities as well. Vancouver, Victoria is a big one. Vancouver, Tofino is a great one, and all of the uh, If Harbor Air could be included on a single ticket with other Star Alliance flights, that would be great. Not going to happen, Heather, unfortunately, because this is not a code share partnership or an interline partnership. It's a mere earn and redeem. Uh, don't think I saw anything that you would be able to combine that. You won't be able to combine Harbor Air into other Star Alliance partnerships as well, because the one big thing with that, just sort of simple, and I think Emily mentioned that in her post as well, is the luggage allowances can be very different. But the beauty of that partnership obviously is for folks that already use Harbor Air quite a bit, and now they just have another way of tying that into the Aeroplan world. So that really ties in well. If they were using Harbor Air and then were using Aeroplan for their other redemptions or other earning possibilities, now they'll earn for all of their short hops that they do on Harbor Air as well, because Harbor Air is all seaplane kind of fleet. And that's what we're talking about here. But beautiful. Some of you may remember the Harbor Air adventure we had in on the Vancouver meetup a few years ago, just post COVID, I think, where we were able to charter three charter planes with Harbor Air, and we flew down to Bowen Island and then onwards to Horseshoe Bay. And then we did a whole trip which included Harbor Air flight, um, BC ferries, and then a limo ride back into Vancouver, a full day trip that we did, which was fantastic. So that's the kind of experience you can unlock with Harbor Air as well, using your Aeroplan points now. It's the same thing. If you are already an Aeroplan member and earn thousands of these points, here's another avenue that can really unlock niche experiences and value for people that are within that region. Or when you go and explore, say, a Vancouver, you can add that as a tourist activity and use your Aeroplan redemption in this case. Um, Aeroplan redemptions are not live yet. Aeroplan earning is already live through Harbor Air, but redemptions are coming early 2026. I don't know if that means January, February, or March, but we know that it's coming early 2026. So stay tuned on that. Just as I was wrapping up for the day, Air Canada sent out a nice media release, which was talking about their 2025 recap, and in a lot of ways, that it's been a big year of announcements for them. We obviously the biggest one being Aeroplan revamp and the SQC. Um, as a unified metric to gauge status and things like that. And enough has been spoken, enough ink has been spilled on that, so to speak. But we will talk about this closer towards the end of the year, or maybe we should do it first week of January when these new changes are in. Um, when the new changes go live. So one of the things that they did highlight was the new schedule to Latin America for winter, with four new destinations, 13 new routes, which was Toronto to Rio, Toronto to Cartagena, Toronto to Guadalajara, Montreal, Santiago, Montreal, Cartagena, Guatemala City, Quebec City to Fort de France. Halifax got Nassau and Montego Bay. Ottawa got Nassau, Montego Bay. Vancouver got uh, Hu Huatulco. Huatulco, yeah, again, Mexico. So a lot of direct flights. Air Canada has committed to these, and a lot of these flights will be taking place on the Max, the Max aircraft, which is great because that aircraft has a solid capacity for long distance flying, even though it's a narrow body aircraft. So until we see the new, I mean, we'll have a good chunk of these A220s, I suppose, going through. The Max aircraft will be taking us there as well. And I don't know if any of these Latin America routes would get the new XLRs, but the XLRs are also on their way. And I suspect a lot of that will be used for direct transcontinental routes. The other piece that Air Canada did a little nudge to was Air Canada officially, Aeroplan has officially reached 10 million members. And they confirmed that they passed a historic milestone in 2025 and that it reached 10 million members. And that's absolutely bonkers to me. Uh, How many of you think 10 million is just a gigantic portfolio? It's no surprise. I mean, the program enjoys a bit of a reputation for having so many niche partners that allow you all of these experiences and niche bookings that maybe are not possible through the others. And we're not just talking about Star Alliance, but it's also beyond Star Alliance, right? So those partners, Harbour Air included now in that group. Lots of garners lots and lots of members. Of course, majority of them are going to be in Canada. From what I recall, they did mention something about just under a million or just about a million members in the US, which is, I think, a significant number for a non-Canada based Aeroplan member group. But far majority, of course, will be here in Canada, obviously. They also announced in 2025 seven new international destinations for 2026, be it Manila, Philippines, Montreal to Berlin. Oh, yeah, all the XLR routes, Montreal to Berlin, Montreal to Palma de Mallorca, Montreal to Nantes, uh, Toronto to Ponta Delgada, Lisbon, closer to Portugal, right? Yeah, Toronto to Ponta Delgada. So a lot of that was the XLR announcements that came through, which is fantastic. So it seems like a lot of the operational new routes and such were all announced for 2026, particularly Latin America and Europe with these new aircrafts, which is fantastic. And of course, more closer to home, we saw Air Canada Lounge network being revamped, and we are already seeing the revamp well underway with two new Air Canada cafes, one in Montreal, one in Vancouver. We know Montreal is also getting a cross-border Air Canada cafe, and Vancouver will get a second Air Canada cafe as well. Great news, which is much needed for that for both of those, Montreal particularly, and then Montreal also got that. Uh, the Amex what's the lounge called? Aspire Amex Lounge, which also gives access to Air Canada Elite members and such. So yeah. Oh, perfect. Sash, you did the Royal Jordanian One World Sapphire, so I may move. Sash is saying he may move some of his economy flying to One World, which would have normally been Star Alliance. Royal Jordanian, and then Air Morocco is also doing a similar One World up to One World Sapphire. How much was the paid? I think the Royal Jordanian one ended, I think around December 8th or so was the last date for them. 149. Oh, nice. That's pretty awesome. One World Sapphire. And what is the highest one? Is that Sapphire? Is Sapphire the highest one? I'm thinking gold, emerald. Emerald is the highest, and Sapphire is the mid tier. Yeah. Okay. So Air Morocco also has a similar status match happening right now, but the pricing is pretty high. If you were, and it's available for Canada residents too. Um, Heather, you're posting. Yeah, RAM is 349 for Sapphire, and I think 750 for Emerald if you were matching Emerald, which is insanity. Pretty good, both of them. I mean, if you were going to do it for the one time, even for 1 year, and move, like Sash said, move all of your economy flying or domestic flying into One World, say with Alaska or American or one day Porter, I suppose. Uh, no, but for next year, Alaska or American, then yeah, it's great for just lounge access. Sash, I know Emerald unlocks a whole bunch of flagship first class. Lounges in the US as well, even if you were flying domestic. What does Sapphire get you? Does Sapphire get you anything in the US for One World? Sapphire gives business lounges and American lounges, but not the flagship lounges. Do you get flagship lounge access with Sapphire? Yeah, no, no. So the flagship is only for Emerald folks. But that said, it's a great network of lounges around the world. Think about the Cathay lounges in Hong Kong or around the world. Think about all of the other first class. Like, does Qatar give you access through Sapphire into their lounges as well? Yes, says Sash. Oh, no, says Sash. No, no, no. Emerald does. Yeah, but Sapphire doesn't. Okay. But yeah, anyways, if even if you were doing the Sapphire for 349, there's enough value just with lounge access around, and you'll be able to get into your business class lounges here in North America with Alaska or with American, and of course around the world, much like you would if you were a Star Gold member and had access to. I recently was at a Lufthansa Senator Lounge, which was nice. The difference between going into a Lufthansa Senator Lounge as a 50 as a Star Gold versus not having Star Gold was quite significant because a couple of friends who were traveling with me did not have 50K status or Star Gold status and had to use the regular Senator Lounge or not Senator Lounge, whatever that regular lounge is called. Um, and I got to go into the Senator Lounge. The Senator Lounge was like maybe a third of the crowd in there, while the other lounge, which I could look into, was like packed in like sardines. So there's definite value in having these statuses, even if it is not the full highest tier, even if it is like the gold, star gold equivalent, which is sapphire in one world, great value to be had through these status matches if you know what you're doing with them. Oh, of course. And Sash is rightfully pointing out that it's not just about the lounges, it's also free seat selection. On Qatar with Sapphire, yeah, if you were doing, so a lot of these airlines are also now charging you fees for seat selection, Qatar included, which is what I think Sash is referring to. Yeah, which now costs like $150 on a segment if you were doing a Qatar Avios redemption. Yeah, so great sort of save good way to save money if you know you have a few of these redemptions coming out. So instead of paying, so just with that Qatar example, if you were doing two, three redemptions, that 349 is well taken care of. If you were even if you were doing Q suites, at least you get the seat selections you wanted firsthand. Um, Alex says, just be careful with your frequent flyer on Cathay booking tickets. They are restricting what loyalty number can you put or use. Fair enough. I didn't pay attention to what are they doing? Can somebody explain a little bit better? Or Alex, can you expand a little bit more? When you say be careful, what's happening? So if I'm flying Cathay and I add my number with, say, Royal Air Morocco or Royal Jordanian, they just won't allow it, or when you add that, something happens to your ticketing. Last I heard, they're not allowing you to change your frequent flyer number. Fair. Okay. How would they, well, anyways, if they're probably blocking it on the easiest to do is during the check-in process, it allows you to change it, but I suppose they're restricting that, or perhaps not even allowing you at check-in. If you wanted to change that, you have to credit to Air Morocco. Yeah. So if you have Emerald through Alaska and flying economy, they won't allow you to put Alaska on there. So you could enter the Pure Lounge. Yep. Yep. Got it. The other beOnd thing, but we got into the status match. No, great point. I'm glad Sash brought this up. Status matches are good. I contemplated for a while. I just don't have enough plans, enough concrete plans, and I have that 50K already. So maybe not this year if it happens again next year, which I feel like Royal Jordanian has done this a couple of years in a row now. Or was it Air Morocco that's coming around the second time in 2 years? But either way, we've had previous opportunities to match into One World Alliance as well. So hopefully next year, if they have one of these, I would love to jump because there's no way I'm maintaining my gold status in Star Alliance just through Air Canada. Alex is confirming, yes, they're not allowing you to change at check-in. This is from 1 mile at a time in loyalty lobby last 2 weeks, I believe. Okay. No, good data points. Thank you for sharing, Alex. Cool. In terms of trying out a couple of airlines this year, beOnd is definitely high up on my list. It's a niche product. They're basically an airline that is doing it's a they call themselves all premium leisure airlines, which basically is like La Compagnie, if you know. Um, which flies only all business class narrow body aircraft. So there's a similar there. They fly beOnd flies A319s and A320s, and it's all lie flat seats, 2-2 configuration. So not very high on privacy. I've seen a couple of videos. I think Nonstop Dan had a recent video. I watched that video maybe a couple of days ago. Um, Yeah, and rightfully pointed out all of the challenges and but all said and done, those cabins look really good. The service looks refined, and some of the amenities and things look really good if you were traveling as a couple or two of you. I don't think that would be an airline for somebody that travels by themselves. If I go in myself, I'd definitely be worried about somebody sitting right next to me. In fact, you know what? That Beyond cabin was, or the seat structure was reminding me of the 777-200 with Emirates that I flew in business class out of Montreal. Montreal, Dubai last year, I flew the 777-200. I love the seat as to how much stretch room or pitch that you have, but it's just the seats are not wide enough. And in this case, it's only a A320 or A319. So it's already not wide enough. And plus, privacy is very, very little. And then you have to jump over your neighbor if you were sitting on the window side and if these were longer flights. So, anyways, Beyond Airlines, what they're doing is they have now received certification. I think they're now actually they're just finalizing everything. Saudi has given them certification to operate domestic and international flights out of Saudi, which is great news. So they are able to expand, and Beyond will launch in Saudi for domestic operations as well as select international routes in and out of Saudi, which is wonderful, which is what their modus operandi has been because they are trying to do the same things in the US as well, and they've pegged October 2026 as their launch date for US operations. And from what they mentioned in the press release, is that they will partner with an existing airline here in the US, not here, in the US, and then offer their services initially domestic across, say, New York, LA, or wherever else, back and forth. And then they were also eyeing the Hawaii market because similar model, all leisure, lie flat seats. So they will compete with the mainstream airlines here as well. Right now, they have select routes. They're actually a Maldives hub, but the airline is registered and based out of Dubai. And they fly a whole bunch of routes out of the Maldives into Dubai, Maldives into Saudi, Maldives, uh, not direct flights, but onwards. They now also have connections from Milan, Zurich, Munich are the three European gateways that bring you into Maldives via Dubai or into Maldives via Saudi as well. So yeah, niche routes, niche product. A very interesting product. I always uh, like to see airlines that are trying to do things slightly differently. And much like La Compagnie, this airline is also trying out this very niche product, which is all somewhere in between. It's not going to be like private charter flying, of course, because we are talking in a 320 cabin. If I remember correctly, there's like 48 seats, close to 50 seats available on each aircraft. So it's not like flying five people in a private aircraft, private charter flight, but it's also not like flying with 300 people. So, somewhere in between, and the product itself looks decent enough for short 6, 7 hour flights if you were doing that. Um, Definitely remains to be seen if they'll ever get a proper full international flight going in and out of the US. I think domestic flying in the US is interesting. I don't know how they'll compete with legacy carriers here that also offer fully lie flat seats, say transcontinental flights. I'm thinking Delta, even Mint with JetBlue. Everybody offers the lie flat product. So it'll be interesting how they compete in that market. But for what they are and where they are positioned, they're also trying to partner with airlines or have operations in and out of India as well. Indian subcontinent, Middle East, and Europe is where they are focusing a lot of their energy. And of course, they have aspirations of entering the US market for October 2026. So we wait and watch. Unfortunately, they don't partner with any other airline or loyalty program right now, so there's no way to unlock them on points. Their cash fares are decent. I think I saw somewhere between 1,500 to 1,700 euros flying from Europe going into Dubai, which is pretty solid when you compare them to what an Emirates or a Qatar or whoever would charge in their business class. Of course, the product is different. I'm not even trying to compare them. I don't think beOnd product itself can compare directly with a lie flat business class with say A380 or the A777s of Emirates or Qatar or them. It's just different. So a different product for different kind of flyer. All right. Well, let's close this one out. We'll do another one of these next weekend.